After almost 2 calendar years, conference play returns right now for the CAA women on Lax Sports Network. What's up, everybody? Here from Rudd Field in Elon, North Carolina, alongside Kelly Berger, the 2-time gold medalist for Team USA. I am Tom Eschen as the 12th-ranked 2018 national champions James Madison Dukes take on Elon here on LSN today. You see JMU starting off on offense. Good time to introduce Kelly Berger, the JMU alum. Kelly, welcome in.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. Good to see Lax again.
Absolutely. And what do you expect here so far today as we watch JMU for the first time? As immediately we already have a whistle on the field.
I think the biggest thing is reminding everyone this is a CAA matchup. So that means this game matters, and it matters a lot.
A free position here right off the bat for JMU here on the 8-meter arc. Daria Lucchese, the redshirt junior out of Lansdale, Pennsylvania, comes in, now back out, and they'll work it around once again. Peterson tried to keep it in there, and we have a whistle with an open stick check right there along the back line. Both these teams didn't play in the shortened season last year. Did play back in 2019. The JMU win. They're 7-0 all-time against Elon. Pass there in the middle, going down is Mady, and a whistle. Once again here in the critical scoring area.
Yeah, like you said, Tom, I think that's the biggest thing. It's a shortened, condensed season, so every game matters, especially CAA.
So Mady will now take the free position, the second of the day here for JMU. Here comes Mady, bounces it in, just past the posts. Let's see who had it backed up. And it will be Elon. Paulina DeFada, the goalie here for the Phoenix, the redshirt senior out of Dix Hills, New York. 6 saves in their opening win over Campbell, all the way back on February 13th. It's been a long time since we've seen this Elon team, Kelly.
It has been. I'm sure if we feel that way, I can only imagine what these players feel like. It's been a long time since they've been out to be able to get out there and actually just continue to have a continuous season.
Yeah, and they're a team that didn't have any scrimmages or anything like that, so it might have been an opportunity just to say, hey, here's what we got, and now we can work on some things as we take on a team like James Madison, 12th in the country, and obviously have won 3 straight CAA titles too. Certainly for the players, probably a little weird to go back to practicing again, I'd imagine. Just from your own perspective, I can think that too, right?
For sure, and practices always feel really long when you're leading up to a season. So think about it like this: you almost had 2 full off seasons before you got back on the field for a game, and that is a grind for any player.
You mentioned it off the top there, Kelly. We expected a physical matchup so far. We've had plenty of whistles as Elon tries to make their way into the offense. They finally get it down here about 2 minutes in.
Yeah, both coaches talked about being prepared for the physical play on both ends, so let's see who handles it the best.
And the turnover there for Elon as Nicole Marshall gets it back, and they'll work it through the goalie for JMU. Now out to midfield comes JMU working in the clearing game.
We see 2 turnovers, and that just shows that there's probably a little nerves here along with it all. This is a big game for both teams, so they're probably just trying to get out a little bit of their nerves, work the ball around, get settled in a little bit.
JMU's played 2 games this year. They're opened up against High Point. That was a 10-9 overtime win, and then a game against George Mason back on the 3rd of March. That was a 19-2 victory, and they really started to flow as that game went on. Really a glimpse of maybe what we could see from this JMU team who Shelly Clay says, and I was sort of taken aback, she said this team has more talent than the championship team in 2018. Were you surprised by that at all, Kelly? Nice stop there by DeFada.
I was surprised, and if I played on that national championship team, I'd be like, what the heck? That's not fair. But the coaches knows the best. She's recruited these athletes. She's watched them come up through high school, club, and now on the team, on the field, and they've had some time to mesh together. So I would not necessarily question what Shelly thinks, and let's see what happens.
She is a JMU alum herself and the all-time winningest coach in JMU lacrosse history, and their run back in 2018. They're, the second to last team to win a title right now at this point other than Maryland. And it didn't happen that long ago. It feels like it happened a lot longer, but this program, as we know, year after year, is the top tier, and as evidenced by getting their 500th win against George Mason just the other day. And sort of they want to make sure people remember that they have this culture of winning. Sometimes, you know, they come out, you never know. They're not the Maryland or Northwestern, but hey, they won a title since, I mean, the last 2 years.
Yeah, and Shelly talked about that a lot. She said she wanted to remind people that it was a grind. This team and this program has put their head down and continued to work for that 500th win. So, and it took a whole program. So that's really awesome for the program, and I think they're 1 of 5 for it to happen, so it's pretty awesome.
See Elon get it into their offensive zone here for the second time today. This is Sarah Bauman with possession. Someone to watch for Elon is Mae McGlynn, the senior out of Skaneateles, New York. Led the team in points and goals last year, 10 and 4, 10 goals, 4 assists. Back there now with possession along goal line extended. Work it into the middle, tough play, almost the backhand was good. Tricky play there by Margaret Stevens.
Fancy.
That was almost filthy.
I like it. I like their style. I think their offense is very fluid, and they're not afraid to make mistakes and just work with one another.
Shooting space called there on JMU, and you can hear the Elon sideline loud and clear that they're really into this, getting their team going. They like having the Dukes here at home. Stopped there by Dougherty. Our first look at the goalie today, the redshirt junior out of Alexandria, Virginia. Had 2 saves against George Mason, but that was her first game of the year after she didn't play against High Point. Fail in the clear game, though, once again for JMU. And Dougherty just now has sort of turned into a veteran after she came on the scene as a freshman and won a title. I mean, really maturing now as years go on.
Pretty unbelievable player down there in the goal. And as a coach, it's amazing to have a solid goalkeeper ready to control the game. It's like another coach on the field for your defense. So everyone who talks about her they just kind of smile and they're just like, oh yeah, she's ready. And that just, you know, for me as a coach, I would build tons of confidence to have my defense ready and set.
What do you think that impact is in practice? Because they practice, don't forget, against each other for 12 months, Kelly. And as the offense perspective, and there's the first goal of the day. We'll get to that in a moment. Kate Mackel for the Elon Phoenix scores her first of the season. It's Elon on the board first. Nice pass in there to the junior from Simi Valley, California.
Yeah, this defensive player gets caught staring at the ball there. Player up top cuts down the middle back door and just finishes a nice shot. And, you know, that goes into us talking about both teams here are playing a zone defense. And it's something somewhat fairly new in lacrosse and women's lacrosse. But they both do it very well. So that means they face it in practice every single day. And that leads us also to the goalie situation that they face in practice every single day. So it'll be interesting to see who can break this zone down on both ends.
I mean, Josh Hexter, the head coach at Elon, now in his 8th season, joked, he goes, well, you never know at JMU, they might come out in man, but they'll come out in zone today, so probably feeling a little better knowing that that's probably what they expected, right? I mean, that's looking so good so far here.
Totally. You can only prepare for what you know, and then you just got to go with it.
And Kelly, we have been talking a bit before today, and you watched them against Campbell, and you really liked how their offense moved, and we saw that a little bit there too.
Yeah, I just think they move the ball so well. They use each other so well. They clear space. They just make it look easy, and looks like the offense flows really nicely.
And looked like we just had our first yellow card of the day, so Madison now with an advantage here, 24-39 to play in this first half. That was Taylor Marchetti, part of that draw circle triumphant for the Dukes, gathering the ground ball, then absorbing the contact. They're right along the sideline.
You see that players are able to move now when the whistle has been blown, so you'll see a little bit more movement, you know, off the ball, which is a fairly new rule here in lacrosse, women's lacrosse.
That free movement sort of taking hold, like you mentioned, Kelly, and I think a lot of people had asked for that, and just to see, like you mentioned, a little more athleticism on the field and just get the game moving a little bit more. Trying to move that right in the middle to Lucchese.
like to see JMU get the ball down a little bit, work it a little bit more than maybe about 15 seconds. I think they're kind of rushing things right now. Settle in a little bit. Oh, there's Shelly. I'm sure she's saying the same thing.
Everybody calm down a bit here as Elon works here with the man advantage for the JMU side of things.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if JMU goes. Yeah, see if JMU goes after them a little bit with a man up. Let's see if they try and get them a little flustered.
Elon getting on the board first here, 7 minutes into play. Last year at the pandemic, when it hit, they were 3-2. They just come off an overtime loss to Delaware. Really peaking Elon, and there is the turnover right there along the back end behind the goal. And Elon, a team that peaked in 2017, a pretty new program. Josh Hexter helped start it back in 2014 was their first season. And now trying to find that magic they found back in 2017 once again. And he thinks maybe this could be a group that does that after maybe a little bit of a dip the last couple of years.
Yeah, he spoke about how the seniors are really setting the tone with the work ethic and the culture. And that is what you need in order to get that kind of magic feeling back. Good group of seniors that are ready to work, and then kind of everyone falls in place and follows along.
Sarah Bowman and May McGlynn, a couple of those seniors. There were 6 players still on this team for Elon that were there the year after that 2017 season. So still had maybe the remnants of that even left over and knew what their expectations were. And now as seniors, like you said, trying to lead by example. He likes the feel and the culture of this group right here, right now, and hopes to use that. I mean, hopes to use a good performance today against JMU to their advantage. And he knows how important these conference games are, especially this year.
Yeah, he spoke about only having 2 in-conference games, JMU and William & Mary, and he plays them both twice, but they are very big games for this Elon team, so they are focused and ready.
Another whistle there on the check here as we see Elon work behind the crease. It's McGlynn working around the top against that zone.
Lots of whistles, lots of whistles.
A lot of whistles early on here. I'm seeing where the official is trying to point. Rest, that does go to the 8-meter arc, so it looked like it was going to be a shooting space call inside that arc. So Elon with a free position. Rushing in. That ball picked up there in the middle, and scoring is Steven. Margaret Stephen, who went for the highlight goal earlier, gets it a little easier this time. And don't look now, Elon leads 2-0 over JMU.
Yeah, Margaret Stevens, that is somebody that Coach told us to watch out for. She is what he called a silent killer. She has a great IQ, can put her anywhere, and she does the job. And look at that, she picked it up. She was not scared. She did not play like any underclassmen.
The CAA Rookie of the Week. How about that release, Kelly, from down low? That was pretty.
Yeah, a little worm burner there. I don't hate it. I don't think I can do it, but she showed us she could, and that was awesome. Good for her.
She had 4 goals and an assist to gain that Rookie of the Week honor against Campbell, and she did that on 4 shots on goal, so that's how you know how efficient she was, the freshman out of Fairfax, Virginia. And like you said, the head coach, Josh Hexter, really with a lot of great things to say about her impact. He loves her game.
I mean, a freshman to do that, 4 goals on 4 shots, that is pretty amazing.
Nice job here by Kaylee Follette. Another player Josh Hexter is really high on, calling her, and I'm the one who gets the coin this year, Kelly, the Honey Badger. Does such a good job all over the field. He says she just gets it. You know, she's one of those players.
Yeah, and he said she's relentless. She prepares like nobody else. And, you know, that preparation is obvious when you see her playing on the field.
And once again, we see Elon with possession in this offensive zone. And the last time these two met, it was a lot of JMU dominating possession. But here, I mean, it's been, if not the scales tipping Elon's way to the first 10 minutes of action. Here's McGlynn, working goal line extended. pass into the middle, goes all the way through over to Bowman.
Yeah, I think the team that's going to be able to feel the ball out more, get more touches on the ball, is going to feel more confident throughout the game and could benefit them down the line.
Another free position coming here for Elon. It'll be Mackel who scored the first goal to take it here from the left hash. Early test here for Molly Dougherty, more than she faced against George Mason for sure.
Yeah, she needs a big stop here. Get a little confidence, show the team that she's still in it. They're okay. It's just 2-0. Let's get on a roll.
Two-time Inside Lacrosse honorable mention All-American Dougherty. 9th at JMU in career saves. Right now the scoreboard went off at Rudd Field, so right now that's why we have our stoppage in play. Some technology issues there on site.
You read my mind. I was wondering what the problem was.
There it is, and you're taking a look right now. We're all learning here in these days of virtual and whatnot of how technology works once again.
Gotta love technology.
So, I mean, what's
Never know what it's going to give you.
We got a moment here, Kelly. I mean, what's Elon been doing so far? It seems like they've been you can hear their sideline quite loud and clearly, and obviously with the lack of fans and whatnot, not as many as usual, they're trying to give their team a boost, but early on, they've got control.
Yeah, they did not come out intimidated whatsoever. They came out saying, this is our field. This is a big game for us. We are ready to go. And they just moved the ball as a unit and found some openings. No, I mean, nothing too crazy. And they're producing.
Here's Mackel. Takes one step, shoots, bounces it in there for her second of the day. 3-0 Elon.
That is a big goal. It is not easy to do what she just did. Most times we want kids to run off of that line. She steps and rips it right away. I am sure Dougherty wants that goal back.
You know, Kelly, from watching their tape against Campbell, they did that more than often than I usually see here in the women's game. The sort of just the step down shot from the free position, and it worked. I mean, it's working here today as timeout. James Madison as Shelly Clays needs to talk things over. All right, 3-0 here early on. Stay tuned. We could have an upset on our hands. We'll take a break as they're taking a break on Rudd Field in Elon, North Carolina. We'll be right back here on Lax Sports Network. Has stood tall. Here she is again. Dougherty there.
Whose
coming
ball is
out
it here?
a little bit farther of the crease. And that's something that Shelly Clays had said, that she's doing a little bit better of a job. She's a little leaner, quicker, more mobile there around the crease than she's been in past years. Just a part of her evolution after being so good in her freshman season as a redshirt.
Yeah, and I think that's what happens. You understand what it takes, and then if you have that drive like she does and that passion, you start to work on it. You eat, sleep. Everything is about that. What will work and make me the best player that I can be. And she learned that very quickly in her career, and it shows.
Shelly Clay saying that Dougherty aspiring and maybe interested in coaching someday, so she likes to know exactly what everybody on the defense and even offensive side is doing when it comes to some of that work you mentioned, Kelly.
Yeah, her game prep sounds like it is, preparing, watching how players shoot, and just, being confident in who she is by leading her defense.
Halfway through this first half, still 3-0 Elon. JMU still not on the board yet. Not what we expected here, I'd say.
No, definitely not. And you can, as a player, you start to get a little antsy. And let's see if JMU can handle that feeling of we need a goal.
Fox trying to take that in. It looks like JMU will get a free position here. They've only gotten one. This is number 2. So here is Lizzie Fox. 2 goals and an assist this year in the 2 games she's played. .19 on the possession clock. Fox rushing in. Saved by DeFada. And there's a check there coming out of the critical scoring area As Defada, once again, she's stood tall there. Made it a few saves here today. It's number 2. And they say she's not afraid of the big moments. Well, this is a big one for her and Elon. She's been up to the task. Not tested a lot, but she's passed them.
Yeah, you know, Coach did break it down, and he said, I want you to make the unexpected saves, at least 2 in a game. And I would say that's one of them.
So now Elon goes a woman up after Casey Knobloch with the foul and the yellow card as well. She'll go and sit for the 2 minutes. Let's see what Elon can do with this.
Man up, coming down on the offensive end. You're up by 3. Say you could put one in the goal just by being smart with the ball and having the confidence that you should have right now as an Elon attacker.
Yeah, this clear, really important for Elon and JMU, mind you. And trying to execute it, and they can't. It's Lucchese. Here she comes the other way, unsettled for a moment. And a scramble here with the ball loose, and they'll call that on Lucchese as she scrambled to get it back after she took it away. They reset.
Knocked the goggles off there.
They reset the possession clock. With the change in possession for a brief moment. Still man up here for Elon. 14 minutes to play in this first half. Two goals by Kate Mackel, one by Margaret Stephen. We had an offside there on Elon. That's not what they wanted in this situation. I mean, I feel like if you're Elon in this situation, you got to try and milk this for all it's worth, right? I mean, you got to try and get as many goals on the board while JMU figures things out.
Exactly. I would definitely say use that 90 seconds that you have. You know, start to eat away some clock, start to save some legs, and just ride on the fact that you are up by 3 goals.
Dougherty coming out of the cage to work the clear. Elon continuing to ride here. And it was a lower scoring game. The closest game these two have ever played was back in 2016. That was a JMU 9-7 win here at Elon. So that was a lower scoring affair. Normally it averages out JMU with a 15-5 advantage all time if you add up all their goals and average them out for the 7 games they've played. So like you mentioned, Kelly, if Elon can keep this a lower scoring affair, that does give them a shot.
Yeah, I'd say JMU has some work to do. But yeah, they need to start. JMU needs to treat this ball right now like it's gold. They need a big possession right here, and they need to have some numbers on the board.
Haggerty couldn't handle the pass from Lucchese. It's really interesting because, you know, maybe we mentioned the fact that JMU's gone against their own zone defense for the last 12 months, but Elon with some maybe different wrinkles, and that's maybe something that they've worked on to change things up a little bit here, knowing JMU goes up against their own zone every day.
Exactly. And I think JMU or Elon doesn't have anything to lose, right? I mean, they're coming in as the underdog somewhat, and they're just playing loose.
Their goal, as Josh Hexter has mentioned, is to be a competitive, consistent, top 15 program. I said, yeah, we got there fast in 2017. Then we dipped a bit. This year is their opportunity to get back in that conversation, and this game, a big part of that, too.
I loved his honesty, too. He said, we are not a top 15 team right now. It doesn't mean we can't be, but right now we are not. So our goal is to get there.
Well, right now, that was, what, 2 days ago? They're beating a top 15 team.
Yeah, past 2 days, man, they turned it around, didn't they?
Here's McGlynn. .30 on the possession clock here, 11:30 on the game clock at Rudd Field, where Elon has a 3-0 lead. McGlynn once again working along goal line extended. They'll work for a good shot, which they've taken a few. And they've got some free positions out of the deal as well here today. Picking things up now, 10 on the possession clock. Like you mentioned, Kelly, they've worked it down. Falling into the middle. That one bouncing out in front, and Mackel's got a hat trick. Picked up the loose change, and Elon takes a 4-0 lead in the first half.
That looks like a top 15 offense to me.
Here it is once again, working it all the way down and then able to find the back of the net here late in the possession of the clock. What a catch by Mackel. It was hard to see on the first look, but wow, Kelly.
Up as they should be.
Elon Phoenix here at home taking on the 12th ranked James Madison Dukes alongside Kelly Berger. I am Tom Eschen, and not what we expected so far, but it has been Elon, the better team through and through, that they've dominated possession. They're getting the job done on defense as well, but Molly Doherty thankfully has 6 saves for JMU, or else this would be maybe a 5 or 6 goal lead so far here, Kelly. At draw control, gathered up there by Marchetti. And they get it out here to Charlotte Haggerty. Once again, they have trouble there in the midfield, and they're going to call that on Haggerty. An open stick check, and back the other way comes Elon. JMU's gotten the ground ball at times here with these draw controls, but they haven't really been able to carry that through to the offensive end. Elon's provided a lot of pressure in that.
Yeah, and I think they're trying really, really, really hard right now. JMU just needs to take a deep breath and let the game come to them. There's still a lot of time.
Technically, in the stats, they say that JMU won that draw control, but they'll call it a turnover on after. I'm not just this way they ensued it with the stats. They wrote it down, but I think that's an interesting note, just the fact that they have kept things even, though 7 turnovers on JMU so far here today, to the 4 of Elon.
Yeah, and a lot of them unforced.
Yeah, like you said, Kelly, a lot of it's just been trying to get it through to that offensive end. As Elon has gotten off to a fast start. Kate Mackel, 3 goals today, Kelly. And this offense clicking just like we saw against Campbell, despite the long layoff a few weeks ago in North Carolina. And you talk about some of that recruiting and see how far lacrosse can spread across the United States these days, and that's a good example, Kate Mackel, of that, really producing here as a junior out of California today.
Yeah, lacrosse is growing. It's we keep saying that over many, many years, but every time we turn around, there's a new player from somewhere else new.
So after a timeout for Elon, an interesting timeout there, decision by Josh Hexter, but maybe just wanted to get things set once again, and you can tell how much that means, each of these possessions still with a 4-0 lead. 50 on the possession clock as we restart. It's McGlynn on the left side of your screen. And she works it right to a wide open Jillian Curran. 5-0 Elon.
It looks like that timeout was called at the exact moment they wrote up what they wanted to do, and they came out and executed the play perfectly.
As you mentioned, really well done. Curran's 2nd goal of the season. She just comes basically untouched there. A lapse on the JMU defense, and Elon now JMU 12th in the country.
Yeah, Elon just looks very focused, very ready to go, ready to break down the game, 1 possession at a time. JMU looks a little bit like they are still trying to get the jitters out.
And we have to mention how the JMU season started, because usually they take on teams like North Carolina and Virginia Tech, but a little more than a week before that North Carolina game, they had some COVID things go on in their campus and in their program, and they had said all throughout fall things were good, and then up until the point where they were finally getting back on the field again, they had to really readjust everything. And despite the fact they're 2-0, I mean, that plays a factor with everybody, this year. We know that, but also something that they maybe tested a little bit more by teams like UNC and Virginia Tech early, not getting those here so far. And Elon, once again, comes out with possession.
Yeah, and when things like that happen, it becomes no more a physical game, it's also a mental game.
On and off the field, right?
Exactly. Yep.
That pass earlier to Curran coming from McGlynn, and you watch these work, and with between McGlynn, Curran, and Bowman, some of the upperclassmen here, really putting in a lot of work this year. And there's another save by Doherty. Once again, a shot by Mackel. But you can see how well they work together. A couple assists already. Bowman has one, McGlynn, and Curran with a goal. Part of the way this offense runs there when it comes to being up front and scoring, which they've done pretty well, 5-0 here, less than 10 minutes to play in the first half.
Run is putting pressure right now. They're making JMU really think about their next pass.
They're putting pressure, on them, right? It seems like every pass, every move is really being expounded here, and in terms of its importance and just everything's been difficult, I guess is the way to put it for JMU so far.
Yeah, and it almost feels like JMU wasn't prepared for that. It's like they're surprised by it, and that's what's flustering them a little bit. Let's see if they can calm down a little bit on this, again, next possession and see if they can put something in the net.
Peterson, as JMU looks for their first goal today. That one sent over the top and into the middle. Once again, that defense collapsing. It's Curtin. Now here along that right side, Michaud, and quick dart as well. Pass once again over the middle, and we'll have a shooting space occur there as Marchetti looked for an opening. Marchetti with 2 goals already this season. She's someone that can score and get to the net. 10 on the clock. Marchetti going high. That one deflected off the stick once again. I think that was DeFata. And DeFata working in goal so far here today.
Yeah, and Elon outbeat JMU to that end line there to get the ball back, and that is a huge play for any defense to get that ball right back after a wide shot.
They'll make Peterson, who was going to try and ride there, back off after she was too close on the restart, and sort of a warning whistle. He does that a couple more times. That's a green card they'll issue, as Elon has a little bit easier time clearing than JMU does for sure.
Yeah, it looks like JMU fell back a little bit, tried to pack it in on defense, and just said, sit tight, let's prepare ourselves and not make it a 6-0 game.
Looking from behind is Bowman. Durkin on her. Bowman takes a shot, stopped again by Doherty. Save number 8 here in the first half. She's doing her part.
If she wasn't, this game would be a little bit uglier.
She won a national championship in goal, and she thinks she has a feeling that this moment is going to require maybe a little more from her than maybe they thought going into the day. Coming off a 19-2 win over George Mason, where she was only tested 7 times, really. She faced 7 shots and made 2 saves out of those 7, but only 4 coming on goal, which you'll take. There's that pass in the middle, and the first of the day goes to Rachel Mady. JMU on the board.
You got to imagine that is a breath of fresh air. Everyone on that sideline just exhaled. And really, they just needed that to come a little bit sooner, but at least it came, right? And so now they can kind of feel like maybe they can move the ball a little bit more easy and kind of get in sync with one another.
About 24.5 minutes into the game before JMU's first goal, and here it comes late in the first half to make it 5-1. Mady, a preseason All-CAA player, and inside Lacrosse honorable mention preseason All-American as well. So the players that you thought might step up here for the Dukes are doing just that, and players like Doherty and Mady scoring first for JMU today with 5:39 to play in the half. Big draw control here.
Big draw control, and some people might look at this score that maybe aren't as familiar with lacrosse and think 5-1, this game is over. Absolutely not. 4 goals in lacrosse is nothing and can change very quickly.
And the way JMU can rattle them off, you're almost bracing for that run. Does it come right now? Durkin tries to play that back to herself. Instead, winning it is Curran. Gathers up the ground ball and wiggles her way out of danger. Big draw control, big ground ball there for Jillian Curran. Led the team last year with draw controls per game. And we talked about the draw controls at the beginning of the broadcast, and you mentioned, Kelly, that Josh Hexter wanted to be 50-50. It's 4-3 right now, and Maddie McDaniel was someone who dominated that circle for JMU for so long. And I'm not saying anything against Marie Durkin or who else is involved in there for JMU, but that's a tough person to replace in Maddie McDaniel, who was such a cornerstone for a long time at JMU.
Yeah, you could tell when Coach Shelley was talking about the draw, they were still trying to find the draw technician on the team that will allow them to have that control again like they had in the past.
Yeah, Charlotte Smith, a freshman, she took a bunch of them at the beginning first game of the year with Durkin out, and she did a decent job at 5 in that game, but things are a little different, in conference play. You always have to say that. Everything gets a little bit harder.
For sure, that's your ticket to the future. So it's definitely, very, very much focused on, and it almost feels like it's as important as sometimes a national championship game because you have to win it to continue on.
Yeah, especially this year where I think people are valuing some things more than others, and conference play this season above all with some non-conference taken out. And that's another reason Josh Hexter mentioned the conference is so important. They usually schedule teams like Duke, Carolina, Virginia Tech, and they couldn't do that this year. So like you mentioned, the conference takes even more prevalence here today.
Yeah, only having 2 conference games is pretty crazy, and they mean a lot.
Peterson, the redshirt freshman, goes down, tries to dump it back out to Marchetti. Let's see, as Bowman tried to track it down. 25 here on the possession clock.
25 may feel like it's not a lot of time. It is on offense. You can score in 10 seconds easily, so see what they do with this.
That pass goes through the middle, just able to be kept in by Jankowski. 8. Knobloch tries to get into the middle. Defense, and looks like they're calling a hold there on the inside the critical scoring area. So with 1 on the clock, it's Knobloch.
So this is where I would say is a good time for her to step and rip since there's only 1 second on the clock. See what she does. She looks like she's getting ready to run. Whoop, there she goes. She turned her feet.
See, the official decides the stop time here.
She looks like she's running.
They reset it to 3 after that change.
Good decision on her part. I support that.
Knobloch gets a little more time. Let's see. She does rush in and goes a little wide. And the shot clock expires, and the eruption from the Phoenix sideline after making JMU use all 90. That's a big stop here with 3 minutes to play in this first half.
That is. Now, if Elon can hold on to this ball for the next 90 seconds, get another good shot off, that will send them into halftime with good momentum and positive outlook on it.
Moving quickly here to get it behind the cage. That's where they've worked for most of the day, and there's a turnover. So moving too quickly there. That hasn't worked for them. It's been much better when they've been able to settle in.
Yeah, that hurts. That hurts. That's hard.
Here they are once again riding, Kelly.
I'm impressed by their ride. They work hard. They support one another. If they get beat, they don't give up. They keep going.
Great job there, though, by Nicole Marshall to escape from trouble there, the freshman from Wisconsin, New York. Now
yeah, I would have to look at this. I would have to look at this JMU team and tell them to handle the pressure. Handle the pressure, take care of the ball, do what they know that they can do and that they've shown that they can do, and, play to their level.
JMU just scored to make it 5-1, a couple minutes back. They look to cut in the middle, not able to catch it as Peterson. Rebound in the box, and they collect it to Defada with 90 seconds to play here in the first half. So there was just the simple, it wasn't simple for sure, but a catch and a finish, that's what Peterson was looking for, just didn't catch it first.
Yeah, definitely not a bad possession, but you have to keep in mind that, Elon hasn't been on defense too much. So they are fresh. So let's work the ball around, get them a little tired, and then have the easy opening rather than trying to thread the needle.
With less than 90 seconds to play here, the possession clock is off. Minute to go. 50 seconds to play now. And it looks like Elon's going to take this as far as they can. How far do you take it?
There's no rush to shoot, right? So they're up 5-1. If you get a shot off, great. If not, that's okay too.
It's like taking a knee at the end of a football game, you
yeah.
know? It's like at the first half.
Yep, exactly.
We're happy with what we did. There is a shot. They had the backup, but dropping the stick, it looked like an Elon player dropped her stick, and sort of the ball went wider than we thought. 10 seconds on the clock here. Elon picks it up once again after the turnover for JMU. 5 seconds, a whistle, and it looks like we'll go into the half. A 5-1 Elon lead. What a first for the Phoenix. 3 goals, a hat trick by Kate Mackel, the junior out of California, and Elon leads the 12th ranked team in the country, JMU, the 3-time in a row CAA champions, as we finish the first 30 minutes. The next 30 are on the way, but we'll take a break here on Lax Sports Network. We'll see you back in Rudd Field for the second half. Back in Elon, North Carolina. Maybe an upset on our hands. 5-1 Elon after the first 30 minutes of play. As we look now back at some of the highlights from the first half. Kelly, what did you see from Elon that they did so well?
They move the ball, they connect with one another, and they work with each other.
You saw Kate Mackel with 3 goals in the first half, a hat trick for the junior. And at times beating Molly Doherty, who, to her credit, had 9 first-half saves as she was peppered with 14 shots by Elon on goal. And on the other end, JMU just didn't get much going, just 4 shots on goal all day long.
Yeah, I think JMU looks still a little nervous. I would, say that they look a little frazzled as the half went on, and they're getting beat by the hustle game right now. Elon is working their butts off, and JMU just kind of looks like they're sitting back a little bit.
You saw Rachel Mady just able to get a goal across there for JMU towards the end of that first half. Came with 5:40 to play. That's how long it took JMU to score. And you see a couple of the leaders, Emma Johnson and Molly Doherty, just having a conversation here. And what do you think the conversation was like for Shelly? As someone who's been in that room, Kelly, what was that locker room like during that halftime period?
She probably took either 2 approaches, a little bit more calm because Shelly does keep her cool, or she said, you guys need to remember that this is a program with 500 wins, and we have some pride that we need to, hold up here and remind them kind of, JMU is known for their gritty play and their toughness on the field and their physical play, and they haven't shown too much of that today. So if I had to guess, that's probably what Shelly reminded them of.
JMU coming into the day with 4 straight CAA opener wins, 18 straight wins in the league, 12-0 in the league, 6-0 in tournament play. So that is really what's at stake over this last half hour. 4-3 draw controls went Elon's way in that first half. Let's see how the first one goes here as the second about to get underway here in Elon. Alongside Kelly Berger, I am Tom Eschen here on Lax Sports Network. Thanks so much for joining us here on this Sunday afternoon of CAA Lacrosse in our CAA Game of the Week. And that's Durkin winning the first of the half for JMU. Good start.
Yeah, let's see if they can work the ball around here a little bit. They're looks like holding up a play. And something to mention, Shelly said that they don't have set plays where, someone has to go this place, and it's suggested is what she said. So we'll see what they come up with on their own.
You do have different leaders that have been there and done that on this team, and that's a reason for that as we get a shooting space here right off the bat. as Mady will look now to go here on the dot on the left side of the 8-meter arc, and she does have the first goal that came earlier in that first half. Looking for number 2. Takes a step in, and the defense slides accordingly, and she gets it back out. Back in to Peterson, who scores. That looked good that time from JMU. They dig into this lead to start the second half. It's 5-2. The freshman Peterson.
And as you can see, ball movement was key in that goal. It wasn't a 1v1, it was a ball movement opportunity, and they did just that, and ends up with a little prize at the end.
Casey Knobloch, who had 4 assists against High Point, 1 against George Mason, her 6th assist of the season. As for Peterson, this is her 2nd goal of the year. Had a career-high 4 assists against George Mason, but like you said, good pass, good catch, and a good finish, something that they were missing in the first half. And now they've scored here after it took them about 25 minutes to score in the first half, took them about 45 seconds to score in the second. So wondering if maybe they can flip the script here and, like I mentioned, get back and dig into this lead, as Elon, though, responds with a draw control win of their own. And nicely done. Quinn Daly bringing it over the middle. Daly, the senior out of Ridgewood, New Jersey. Former CAA All-Rookie team player, getting Elon possession. And a moment they needed one. That was a bigger draw control maybe than you think a minute in here, momentum-wise.
Yeah, and something to recognize, it looks like JMU just came out with a man-to-man defense right now. So they switched out of their zone. They threw something different at Elon, just like Coach thought maybe they would. And let's see if it makes a difference.
Here's Curran dodging. That one gets taken away briefly, but a whistle coming here on JMU. I think that will now result in another free position for Elon. And yeah, you could tell Elon was ready for the zone in the first half for sure. I think JMU trying to adjust to that now.
I wouldn't even call it ready. I think they're very good against a zone. They play against it every day, and they clearly know how to play against it.
Here's Curran, had a goal in the first half. Junior out of Fairhaven, New Jersey. Beat it there behind. Tough angle there on that free position, and plenty of time on the possession clock for Elon to get reset. Now try and navigate the man-to-man defense employed. Here's Curtin. To the middle to work it along the outside. And it does take advantage of some of the better defenders here for the Dukes, the veterans, if you will. Johnson, one of those, though she now just called for the foul a moment ago.
Yeah, I think that was a really good call on the coaching staff side of change things up a little bit. See if we can throw something different at them, see how they react, and see if we can outplay them in a different way on the defensive end.
Marshall applying the pressure. 7 on the possession clock. McGlynn. A lot of pressure put on. The shot just wide. Wasn't on goal, so the clock does expire. Good defense, as you mentioned. JMU going to the man, and Elon trying to figure it out. Might take him more than one possession to do just that. Didn't get a bad look towards the end there, but they used all of it for sure.
Yeah, and you have to know that the Elon coaches, they're probably putting their heads together right now as this ball's traveling up the field on, okay, what do we need to now do in order to beat the man? And they just, both teams, you cannot say that they're not going to come in prepared. They come from really good coaching staffs. They're going to try and outwork one another. So this is a fun game to watch, you know? See what they do.
I wonder if you call a timeout if you're Josh Hexter and say, well,
yeah,
once you get possession back and sort of reset things. It's sort of a cat and mouse game at that point.
Exactly, and that's what makes the game fun, right? Try and figure it out.
Nice skip pass there by Mady over the middle. The shot by Knobloch, and she scores. 2 here in the second quickly for JMU. It's a 2-goal deficit.
And just like that, they're back in the game. You can see that this big swing of a pass, so cross-field pass here, changes the defense. They have to shift, and if you can beat the defense by swinging this ball to that opposite side, you get a little bit more of a wide-open look. and catch the defense on their heels, and that's what JMU was able to do.
It looked like that Mady had a couple of options there, and there is the timeout. I predicted it correctly. How about that, Kelly? I knew they were going to call one.
We're going to call you Coach Tom. Coach Tom.
I don't know. I don't know what I would say, personally, but at least I know what I've called the timeout at the very least. As we move on and talk about JMU, and this is a reason you mentioned, Kelly, that they have been so successful, is that the coaching, the difference in being able to change and adapt as games go on, and we just saw that just by winning their 500th game over the course of the week, and that joins some other, really prestigious programs, and JMU belongs in that conversation as they beat George Mason 19-2, and a program that began back in 1969, and since then have won 16 conference championships total, 12 in the CAA, and of course the 2018 national title. But look at some of those schools. I mean, JMU belongs in that conversation as they've been there and they've won games on a yearly basis, as you've experienced in your own college career.
Yeah, to be part of those programs, Maryland, Penn State, Virginia, Loyola, it just says something about the program, but it also, to have pride to come from JMU and know that it takes a lot for those 500 wins to add up. So it's a long time, and I'm proud to be an alumni there. It's not always, we didn't always have winning seasons when I was there, but to be able to say I played at James Madison, and people to associate that with the Marylands, the Penn States, the Virginias, Loyolas, it's pretty awesome. And Shelly has done an amazing job of continuing to build this program to winning a national championship, and then, always tying in the alumni. She does a really good job of that. So I appreciate that a ton.
There's something special about being part of a tradition when you are a part of a program like that you can look back and talk to alums like yourself, or from when you were there, I'm sure, from alums from 20 years ago that all went through the same process. I think that's a very valuable thing that a program can talk about. Not everyone can do it, not everyone can say that they've been playing for that long. And obviously the growth of the game, we've had more new programs come along, but still to have some of those fixtures in the game, and James Madison, one of them, really cool, and especially for those that are able to go through that process.
Yeah, and it's 500 wins. I mean, that is a lot of wins. So, heck yeah, good job.
Jelly Clay's a proud owner of 174 of them in the JMU tenure, 6 CAA titles, 7 NCAA tournament appearances, 8, as well. Elon responds here. Let's see now what Josh Hexter told his squad during the timeout and see if JMU stays in man or the cat and mouse, or the chess match, if you will. I think they stay in the man here and see how Elon adjusts to it.
Yeah, it looks like they're calling out their man right now, trying to find who has who. If I had to guess, Elon probably is going to take a second, spread it out a little bit, work the ball, and maybe look for a couple one-on-ones here.
Bowman scanning the middle, and she decides to go now around the outside. Curtin back behind the cage. They had a lot of success there working against the zone. Curtin. Curtin looking to dodge, and she did lead the team in assists last year as well. That one coming out here with 30 on the possession clock. Defense applied by Emma Johnson once again, and once again, looks like Elon will get the restart here with 30 on the possession clock. 5-3, 2-goal lead. Bowman from the dot. Rushing in, the dive, and believe they'll say that was in the crease. So that was McGlynn, and now JMU takes possession. See a crease dive in the men's game these days, and into the crease goes McGlynn there on the free position.
I'm actually somewhat surprised they didn't call a push there on JMU from behind. They've been pretty tight on the fouls.
Yeah.
See what they're...
I believe it's a scoreboard issue once again there on site.
Okay. Good old technology. There it is.
As you can see, it's a windy day. It's 51 degrees there in Rudfield today, so I'm not going to blame it on the cold, but sometimes the wires get crossed, and they'll figure it out.
Blue skies, that's all that matters in my mind. When it's game day, as long as it's blue skies, I'm okay.
A beautiful day at that. And I'll take 51 right now.
Yeah, for sure. Early spring lacrosse.
And this is where really JMU, this is one of the places on the field they've struggled today, is being able to get this over the midfield line against the ride of Elon, though this time a little bit more space and time here for Johnson. She'll continue to go after the whistle. I thought that may be a play-on situation, but the whistle did come. A haphazard whistle a bit. As the officials now discuss the call, and they're going to call it a play-on and let things run here. And they will. So Johnson will now retreat back to her side, and now James Madison will get set up in the offensive end. They've scored the first 2 of this half. Haggerty looking over the middle, and a pass that just went too high for Jankowski to handle.
Those are the turnovers as a coach, just drive you crazy. You just got the ball down there. Let's, make some good passes, set each other up, and then attack the attack.
Especially because that wasn't coming sort of in the threshold of a lot of bodies or whatnot. It was just sort of a get me over pass to keep the offense moving.
Yeah, and then to add to it, a frustration foul that turns into a card. Can't let those things happen this late in the game.
So Elon goes a man up as Jankowski comes off. It was Jankowski trying to grab that and unable to do it.
So now let's see it down on if Elon gets the ball down here, if JMU comes out of that man-to-man and drops back into a zone now because they are man down.
Jankowski a little frustrated with that call and say maybe there was some embellishment there. That's her argument to the sideline. Here comes Elon now on the offensive end. Let's see how both sides set up here. And it looks like, as you predicted, Kelly, a zone coming for JMU.
Yeah, and always when you're man down on defense, it kind of sometimes can be a turning point for the defense. They communicate a lot. They know they got to be up for the challenge right now. They are man down, and they kind of come together as a unit. Let's see if JMU does this.
And we get, once again, a whistle inside the critical scoring area, so it'll be a free position for Elon. Gut check time here as Elon looks to score their first. Bowman rushing in, shooting just high and wide, but backed up there by Curran.
Girl in the middle, wide open. There you go.
Taking a little more time off the clock. Continue to work some of those cutters who sort of sit in the middle for a moment and try and find some space as Durkin tries to keep her stick close. McGlynn thwarted. And there's a shooting space once again. Here comes a free position.
And that's something I see Elon do very well, and I applaud them for this because it's a really good habit they have. They swing the ball very quickly, and they catch the defense on their heels, and they play as a unit.
Here's Mackel, 3 goals today, just decides the fire. That one deflected way in front. It might have gone off the body of a Duke's defender. Sort of a funny play there. Didn't exactly see what happened.
Yeah, I was going to say, did that go off a body there?
Mady, wow, who went down. Let's get another look. Mackel revving up, and Mady sort of threw her stick at it. I mentioned that's sort of an unorthodox way for the free position. Mackel just firing. And incredibly, somehow, Mady got her stick on that ball.
Yeah, it almost looked like Elon wasn't ready to take the shot, and the whistle blew, but JMU was ready.
What a hustle play by Rachel Mady there. I mean, they have the presence of mind to go put her stick there in front. And they call a yellow card, a dangerous propel, I believe, on Mackel.
Wow, that's the grit of JMU, and that's what I think Shelley wants to drive home over and over again. Make those little plays and have the team feed off of that.
Call the dangerous play. Right in line with the dangerous propel penalty there, and that's probably the chance you take when we were talking about sort of stepping into those free positions, just shooting. And Mady, give her credit, drew that. And not called for that, even just reaching her stick out there.
Yeah, that's hard as the attacking player to get that called on you. That's frustrating as an attacking player, but it's to keep the game safe, so you have to understand it.
So that's a yellow on Mackel, so things even up here for the time being. And JMU gets it here in their offensive set. Down 5-3. Elon still yet to score here in the second half. JMU with 2.
You would think JMU looks to kill this penalty, so they are now a man up, and looks like their
penalty got
offensive
released.
player just came in.
And you can hear the exclaim on the field as the scoreboard's gone out again. I thought I heard one of the players show their upsetment, or how upset they were at the scoreboard, they can't believe it. Our
taking away
zoom.
their momentum a little bit. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Our slow zoom, a dramatic one at that, into the scoreboard, which has been maybe our biggest threat to this half. JMU with 2 goals, and now they got it set and ready to go here at Elon. All right, we're back. At least they've gotten that down. He's setting the play. If we can get going here too. Here we go. 50 on the possession clock for JMU. Down 5-3. Tightening things up here as we make our way through the second half after Elon led 5-1 in the first 30 minutes. Fox. Work it around. Out comes Jankowski. Fox, good catch there. Dodges inside. Here comes the slide. Going by Morehart. Skipped over the top once again. Marchetti goes in, comes back around. She gets checked. It's a clean one at that. Haley Follett, the Honey Badger, taking it away.
Yeah, the referees let him play a little bit there, and Elon capitalized.
Follett, the freshman out of Westlake Village, California. The decision was between Elon and Notre Dame when it came to going to college, and she chose Elon. And here today, they love her, like we mentioned earlier. 4 ground balls, 3 caused turnovers in her collegiate debut against Campbell almost a month ago now. And here today with one of the bigger plays of the day. There's James Madison with momentum here in the second half. Now Elon gets a chance to take it back.
Coach Axter talked a lot about winning those physical plays and not being scared of JMU because they are a physical team. Does not look like Elon is backing down at all from that.
Now the officials once again get together. Hearing it from the sideline, I just think looks like there might have been a clock issue on the restart after the whistle in the middle of the field. So Elon will get it with 56 on the possession clock here. He said, Hexter, we have to be the best version of Elon today. And they did that in the first half. Now they probably need to get a couple more in the second half to feel a little bit better about things, knowing that JMU offense still lurking here with 2 in the first few minutes, first 10 minutes of this half. Bowman using the speed. Bowman getting in front and just didn't get enough on it. She got hit inside the critical scoring area. They'll call a cross check, and Bowman will head to the 8-meter arc.
Yeah, I would say JMU needs to, stop giving up the silly fouls. This is definitely a cross check. It's definitely illegal. Just try and have a little bit more control. Doherty's got that save.
Bowman with that burst of speed to get free, and looked like JMU had recovered after that, and now here she is on the left side of the arc. Going inside, bouncing it way in front of Doherty and scoring. 6-3, Elon on top. Bowman's first of the day.
And I would call that a JMU mistake that caused that goal. They had it under control with Doherty making the first save, and that's probably a save that Doherty knows she should have right there, and she'll get it back, no doubt about that.
Sort of a changeup, right? I mean, coming out of the stick, you expect something coming in hot, and that bounces probably, I want to say, at least a meter or two in front of Doherty there, and it sort of had her off balance.
For sure, and Tom, I think you and I both can agree that we do not want her position. So
that's true.
It's unfortunate that she didn't make that save, but she has a tough job.
But where Elon now with their first goal in nearly 20 minutes of play coming in this second half, 20:43 to go. Elon with a big goal there after JMU put 2 on the board to start here in the first 10 minutes. Elon with a response. It all started
and I think
with Follett on the other end.
Yeah, and I think what we can say, too, is Elon kind of probably was feeling a little tense after those 2 goals early on that JMU scored, and that they needed, to get on the board, too, and kind of get their flow going for the second half. And there goes the scoreboard again.
It's given us a lot of opportunity, Kelly, to talk about this, talk about the game and break it down as we go. It's not ideal for the players, of course, but a little frustrating at times for everybody involved. Let's talk for a moment about our next CAA Women's Game of the Week, which features a pair of conference rivals. That's Saturday, April 3rd. Maybig Lynn and the Phoenix take on William and Mary. Like we mentioned, that's who they're playing this year. William and Mary and JMU. Opening draw set for 3 p.m. Eastern right here on LSN. So that women's game coming April 3rd on your schedules. Mark them today. And we are set and ready to go once again. Tom Eschen with Kelly Berger on the call of this one on Lax Sports Network. Thanks so much for joining us here today for our CAA Game of the Week. Elon led 5-1 at the half, now a 6-3 lead, winning that draw control here after getting their first of the second half. They're leading the draw control battle 7-4 here today.
Got to make Coach Exter happy. That's the first thing he told us. He wanted them to win the 50-50 draws, and that's what they're doing.
Winning ground balls as well, 8-4, which also comes into play in the draw control circle, but outside that as well. And here they are once again on offense. That check on Johnson. As we know, one of the best defenders that JMU's ever seen, but here today, there's been times where she's been a little too aggressive out there. It's come back to bite him with some more opportunities for Elon off the restarts here.
Yeah, and that's just reading what the officials are going to be calling early on. And early on, they stopped a lot of fouls, so you have to kind of adapt to that.
Nice job there, though, jarring it loose for JMU. Carolyn Thistlethwaite, the freshman defenseman, getting some time, and here she is taking it over the middle, all by her lonesome. And a whistle on the way over the middle with a yellow card coming as well. This on Margaret Stephen. Didn't get a chance to see what the yellow card was for, but a great play there by the freshman, just getting in for some time, Carolyn Thistlethwaite.
Yeah, it looked like when they were carrying the ball down, I just saw kind of the reaction from the sideline. It looks like there was a big swing of a stick. And they always like to keep things safe. And if it's around the head, they probably want to set the tone right away that they are not going to allow that. Looks like that's what Coach Exter is arguing, but he's not winning. So.
And this is a big opportunity for JMU. 19:22 to go with a man up for 2 minutes.
This might be the biggest possession that JMU has had all game. If they can put one in right here, cut it to 2 with a good amount of time left, they can be back in this game easily.
Work through their offense. They've had some success in the middle. Peterson dodging from the middle this time, and once again, another whistle inside the critical scoring area. Peterson running right there to the arc. She's ready to go. 1 goal today. Redshirt freshman out of Sparks, Maryland, with an opportunity here to cut it to 2 once again. Peterson rushes in. Peterson goes down. She was bumped on her way in, and will reset and do it all over again.
Good size with Peterson. Coach says that she knows how to take a hit. She's prepared to take a hit, just like she just did, and she's back up, ready to go.
Her father playing football at Towson. Also a high school basketball player, 4 years and a 2-time captain. Peterson once again rushing in. There's DeFada. 4th save of the day. She's only made 4 saves, but she hasn't been tested a whole lot. And so far, she's passed a few of them.
Yeah, she explodes out of that cage pretty fierce and comes to the top of that crease. So you got to figure out a way how to put it behind her heels.
DeFada, who started her career at Fairfield, where she redshirted back in 2017, then played in 2018, was second in all Division I with 211 saves. Came over here to Elon in 2019, where she allowed 12.1 goals per game and 48% saves, and didn't play at all last year. So she's got, despite the fact she's listed as a redshirt senior, she's got eligibility in her pocket. I think she'll be around here for a long time with this JMU outfit, or excuse me, this Elon outfit. Good hustle play there by Durkin, just able to knock the ball out as they'll play on here on the back line.
Yeah, JMU man up here. You're going to see a double, see if they can trap them. Oop, yep, there it is. Trapped that Elon player and was able to get the ball back.
You can see the celebration briefly there from Johnson as JMU starting to maybe get themselves, and obviously they should be in it, but here you can see some of these momentum swings starting to mean a little bit more as the day goes on. Marchetti doing a nice job in the clearing game there.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, Tom, because I was just thinking they haven't been able to really get into a flow. The game feels, to me, if I was on the JMU side, very choppy. So see if they can kind of string a couple possessions together here and get touches on the ball. And we're saying this pretty late in the second half. So if we're feeling that, they probably are too.
Back even here. Marchetti sends it over the top, over to Mady. Dished in front, Jankowski. That one once again knocked away by DeFada. Backed up by JMU, they'll get another shot at it with a fresh possession clock as it reset after going off of DeFada. Shots wide over the goal, won't reset it, instead hit the post or off DeFada will. Another defensive play made there by Elon. That ball jarred loose, and then the whistle coming on JMU, so Elon gets the ball back. Another big stop by this Phoenix team, and DeFada makes another save.
Yeah, move the ball, JMU. Move the ball. Stop trying to dodge through the zone.
They have had the most success there, as you mentioned, Kelly, today, with some quick passes and quick shots, and instead of dodging and whatnot. And obviously, you look at the defense, and usually that's what you would see against the zone. Sometimes those passes into the middle work a lot better.
I can't hear Shelly, but I can imagine, because of me playing for her, that is exactly what she's screaming at them on the sideline. Move the ball.
But instead, it's Elon here now working against the JMU man-to-man defense, which they employed since the start of the second half. To some success. Only 1 goal for Elon here in the second half so far, but it has a 6-3 lead. Diving in there was Curtin. No good, but they get the rebound. Bowman. Continuing to scan as we reach right around the midway point of this second half. Elon still ahead, 6-3. The JMU run hasn't necessarily come right there. A backhand try once again there in the middle. That time by Mackel. You've seen that a couple times. They have been, you can tell, they're allowed to be creative.
Yeah, we call that fancy sticks. So they are good at it. I support it. They are not scared to do it, and they do it well.
When they need to, as they say, right? if it fits the moment.
Exactly.
It's Bowman. Durkin on her. Does a good job. As you hear the Elon sideline say, 30 on the possession clock. And looked like we had a block.
Looks like they got
or a charge.
Yeah, an illegal pick of some sort. Which is a big call by that official.
Yeah, Elon was pretty settled in, and now back comes JMU, unsettled a bit here. Peterson in the open field. Good hustle to get back by Daly. Daly stopping that break, the senior out of Ridgewood.
I got excited there for a second. I thought we were going to see a fast break from James Madison, which we do not see very often.
This has definitely been a settled game through and through on both sides. These teams taking their time. Knobloch from the top. Gazing over the middle, looking inside. Fox shoots, scores. JMU cuts the lead to 2. It's 6-4. Fox, the redshirt sophomore. Creeping closer are the Dukes, but the Phoenix in control. We'll take a break as we continue through the second half here on Lax Sports Network. Welcome back here to Rudd Field. It's a 2-goal game. Elon leading 6-4 over the 12th ranked James Madison Dukes as we make our way through the latter portions of this second half. Lizzie Fox just scoring here right before the break, and maybe one of the better sets offensively we've seen from JMU all day. So trying to get that rhythm before it's too late here, Kelly.
Yeah, Coach talked about how you wouldn't necessarily see Lizzie Fox in the stats. She does all the dirty work, but I tell you what, you'll see her in the stats today because that was a big goal for them, and she finished when it was needed, much needed.
Yeah, that was an important one at that, as Elon led the first half. After the first half, 5-1. Now here in the second, 6-4. JMU, we thought they might tighten it up at some point, but it's quite remarkable. I'm just looking at the stats during that timeout, and you see DeFada has 5 saves, and they've been big ones at that, but all the stats swaying towards Elon, which you normally would not expect here. You thought maybe that Elon, JMU would be the team dominating possession and all that, but instead it is Elon doing just that here, and now after that timeout, after that goal, it's Bellman taking it from the center circle. As there was a yellow card on Lizzie Fox right after we went to break. We'll look in to see what it was. I'm not sure just right yet, but that puts Elon on a man up, and that's why there was no draw control here to start right after that goal. So an intriguing moment coming out here with 13 minutes to play. Working her way in was Curran that time. She goes down, and JMU gets the ball back.
Yeah, I'm trying to count the players here. It looks like, is JMU a man down? What will they do with this possession? And they're going.
Peterson going right to the rack and coming up just wide, but she had plenty of backups there. Jankowski was there. Yeah, so Lizzie Fox, been told, did get that yellow card during the timeout. So it might have been something that was said, or I'm not sure what happened, but it does put JMU a man down, though not shy there in the middle once again as Fox. Taking a couple seconds to stand back up and walking it off. Fox, the redshirt sophomore out of North Rockland, New York. Coming up with one of JMU's biggest goals of the game just a moment ago. Knobloch sends that over the top. Peterson. He looks on the inside. That's a really nice catch in there on the inside by Elizabeth Murphy. And then they find in the middle Fox again. 2 in a row for Lizzie Fox. And the Dukes are right back in this. It's a 1-goal game.
And maybe that's what Coach was talking about. You know, she works off ball. She finds, you know, herself open, but I don't think she's necessarily expecting it. She's just working off ball and then pops to be open. So she's clearing space for other players, but it's resulting in good things for her.
So that's Fox's first. We just found out what that card was for. The stick check following the goal before the break came up with an illegal stick. So they took that goal off the board, which means that was Fox's first, and now it is 6-4. So I just want to make sure we clarified everything on that. There was a little bit of consternation. Weren't sure communication between, we're both not on site here, myself or Kelly, so just had to communicate that from the officials who would normally be able to tell us that if we were standing right there in the press box somewhere. So that is that clarification there. 6-4, 12 minutes to play.
I am so glad you cleared that up because I was counting 7 players. I thought I was losing my mind.
There was some confusion for sure on a myriad of ways, so wanted to make sure we had that all clear. As JMU wins that draw control, here they are trailing 6-4. Beatty. Here's Knobloch. Trying to find, once again, Mady in the middle. She falls, but that one works right through, and keeping possession is JMU. Knobloch will initiate. Elon defense has held firm today. They got to do it for 11 more minutes to pull off this upset. Can they do it? Mady. Looking around once again, has to retreat back out to Marchetti. Peterson, the freshman. Still, Peterson trying to work on Michaud. Into the middle she goes. No whistle. And there was a whistle. They can replay, can get going here quickly. Clock runs inside the critical scoring area. After an offensive foul, big collision there in the middle.
Oh.
Both players, Durkin, and it looks like that is Quinn Daly, colliding right around midfield, going for a loose ball. See what the officials decide to be called here. Looked like at that point, Durkin had picked that up briefly. See how that all weighs in here, as both were going hustle play for sure.
Yeah, those are scary plays. They're just two players going hard, trying to win the ball. I don't think anyone had intent to hurt either one. And, you know, you just got to say you good and pick it back up.
So the whistle came. And we continue to wait here to get the information, as it looks like it's going to be James Madison possession. And they'll restart here with Marshall.
JMU is doing a better job of a little bit of off-ball movement. I would like them to possibly give feeds that someone can do something with the ball once they get the feed inside. You know, they're kind of handcuffing each other a little bit, putting each other in a bad position. So let's try and see if they can put all the pieces together and cut this game down to a 1-goal game.
Their man up here, yellow card there on Quinn Daly after the collision in the midfield. That one working through, so that'll leave even more space here. Marchetti works her way all the way to the rack and goes off, I think, the post. DeFata might have got a piece of that too. Jankowski now working it over to the middle to Murphy.
One cradle and get it out. One cradle and get it out. That's what you want to see right here to beat that man-down defense.
That one sent into the middle, diving, scoring. This time it's Lucchese. JMU makes it a 1-goal game. Daria Lucchese from Lansdale, Pennsylvania. The game-winning goal in OT against High Point in Game 1, and now cuts it to 1 in Game 3. Fourth quarter, second half, continuing here in a moment on Lax Sports Network. The plot thickens. We're under 10 minutes to play here in Elon, North Carolina, and it's 6-5. How about this for our CAA Game of the Week opener on the women's side? It's been a battle so far on both ends. Elon had the advantage in the first. Now JMU tightening things up as we make our way to the final 10 minutes. It should be a good last 10 minutes of this game. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, we said this was a huge matchup. It's a big CAA game. Both of these teams want this win. So to come down to the last 10 minutes and 1-goal game, I'm getting my popcorn. I'm ready.
I am too. Alongside Kelly Berger, I'm Tom Eschen. And you'd think too, at this point, the way things are starting to shake out, it's going to come down, to these goalies. Paulina DeFada and Molly Doherty have both made some really good saves today. And you got to think the deficit 1 for JMU right now. Who can make a few more saves? It depends on the looks, of course, but going forward, what a matchup.
Yeah, they've both shown to be leaders in the cage by just their play. So I'm excited for both of them, and no matter what ends up happening, a good game is always what you want.
And a big draw control here with 9:27 to play following the latest goal for JMU. Daria Lucchese right before the break. That one popped out. Curran and Durkin started, and now JMU picks it up, and they will win this one with a chance to tie it up here if they can get it over into their offensive zone. Marshall.
And what a difference. What a difference. It's, earlier in this game, JMU looked frazzled with the ball. They are now starting to look a bit more confident, both ends of the field, really priding themselves on that possession rather than just throwing it away.
Charlotte Smith, the freshman, taking that over the middle to get it into the zone for JMU. A big one at that, a big clear. Now JMU will settle into their offense. Peterson cutting through the middle. Peterson, a fake, goes high, then down low. They overrule it. Goal called off. Peterson got in the crease.
She looks so confident with that ball, you would forget that she is a freshman.
They do love what Peterson can do, but they're just got a little too close into DeFada. The goal waved off, and another huge play in this game. And a stick switch there. Interesting moment between Morhart and Curran. Why would they do that, Kelly?
Sometimes it depends on if somebody's taking the draw and they want a specific stick for the draw control, and maybe they haven't passed each other through the field until now. So they want, just a specific stick, and it's technique, and it's all kinds of things they could have been thinking about there. Yeah,
Curran took that first draw after the latest JMU goal, so that would all line up and make sense. So you don't often see it with the player with the ball. I just found that fascinating. Here's McGlynn.
That was definitely an interesting exchange.
McGlynn once again up against Johnson. Good matchup. She'll get it out to Michaud. Freshman, 9 on the clock. It'll be up to Michaud. 4 on the clock. Into the middle. That pass gets all the way through, and the shot just wide. So close. Curran had an opportunity there.
It was a good rip. You'd want one of those back if you were the player that shot that one, but so it makes this game interesting.
Almost beat the buzzer to give Elon an important 2-goal advantage. It stays at 1. Johnson works the clear. Get it over the middle to Smith, doing a nice job once again, and once again, here comes Peterson. 1-goal game, 6:30 to play. Haggerty, haven't heard much from her today along that left side. Works it around the top. Knobloch. Knobloch into the middle. Shot stopped. Hits a few sticks in there. Fox with an opportunity, and there was a few white shirts, a lot of congestion in the middle. The official will stop the clock with Fox coming up. Little gimpy once again.
Yeah, this is a huge stop on Elon's part, but you got to turn your head before you take that shot, and she turned her head and took the shot at the same time. It's a tough take, but, you know, she took the hit. Elon made a really good stop. That's a big play right there.
DeFada coming out of the cage and cutting off that angle made it really difficult for Fox to do anything but put it right into the webbing, or at least to get for DeFada to get a piece of it. That was really nice goaltending.
Yeah, she likes to come really high out on her crease, just like we talked about earlier with that bounce shot. You got to give a little fake, make her fall for it, and then put it behind her ankles or behind the back of her shoulders.
So 5:30 to play. It's Elon possession. They're up 1. Just let you know what's at stake here as Elon takes a timeout on the field. You can hear the official saying that a few times, trying to convey that message, and both teams will take a little break here with 5:42 to play in this second half. Elon with a 6-5 lead. And like I had mentioned a moment ago, just so you know what's at stake here, JMU has won 18 straight games in the CAA, 12-0 in league play, 6-0 in the tournament. They have won 3 straight CAA titles, of course. They never lost to Elon, and their dominance is unparalleled here in the conference. It's been amazing, as we all know, as they've won the CAA title 6 times as well. So, Elon now with an opportunity to beat JMU for the first time. 5:42 to play. I mean, you got to be almost, I mean, this is the moment, right? You got to be feeling it.
Yeah, I almost wonder if JMU came in a little bit overconfident and Elon came in ready to go and seizing the opportunity that they have to really make an impact, not only just for one game, but like in program history. And so it'll be interesting to see if Shelly reminds JMU of that right now. Hey guys, this is what we need to do in order for, you know, something to happen that never has.
And you mentioned that, and we asked her a little bit about the 7 championship players that are still on this roster for JMU for moments kind of like this. It's Charlotte Haggerty, Emma Johnson, Daria Lucchese, Elizabeth Murphy, Sarah Riley, Molly Dougherty, and Katie Tchaikovsky. We're all on the team that won in 2018. She says we use them to tell stories about moments probably like this, you know, whether that was in the NCAA tournament or in conference play. And that's what this is all for, right? You're down 6-5 on the road in your CAA opener. That's where this experience comes out. And for the Phoenix, it's a matter probably of getting your jitters out and trying to be on the precipice of something so big. So it'll be Elon possession here, with a little bit of pressure. They've been able to handle it and try now to hold off JMU's comeback here in the second half. McGlynn. Johnson all over her. Johnson doing a great job. McGlynn trying to dodge. Good defense there as McGlynn couldn't get free. Over to Bowman. Here comes the slide. Smith coming to help. It's Bowman. Working deep into the possession clock now. You can tell Josh Hexter told him to work it. Don't force anything. Curran. Already has a goal today. She's guarded by Marshall. 10 on the clock now. McGlynn from the left side. She goes down, and they do eventually with a whistle. 4:44 to play. McGlynn goes down in the critical scoring area. Let's see where this might have come. Let's see, the legs got tripped up. Sort of a late call there as Johnson is called there with a trip. 6-5. Keep in mind, just 3 here on the possession clock as well. It'll be McGlynn. McGlynn bounces it right in front of Doherty. McGlynn is in the crease, so it'll be JMU possession, and Doherty points that out. So a stop there for JMU and a big one at that. Now they'll work the clearing game. Smith has been good here over the last few possessions. Doherty, 14 saves today. Playing exactly like an All-American as the backstop for this JMU team. Will it be enough? That's the question. Peterson now working it over the middle. JMU takes their time against this zone of Elon. Even strength. Jankowski. Lucchese. Now it's Marchetti, redshirt freshman. See that mix. Under and upperclassmen here. This JMU side. And one sent over the top into the hands of Marchetti. She gets it out to Lucchese, and we'll get a shooting space out of that. Clock stops. 3:35 on the clock. It'll be Lucchese. A goal today for the redshirt junior. And one of the more consistent players for JMU, not only this season, but in the past as well. Like I mentioned, she cut it to 1. Lucchese getting inside. Coming out was DeFada to make the stop. They'll reset here. And the shot clock, possession clock resets as well. So the stop by DeFada, but on the rebound, JMU gets a full, fresh 90. A chance to tie. Mady. Now she surveys. Deep pass here over to Peterson. Back over to Mady. Peterson cuts through. Marchetti gets checked. Good check at that by Eno. That one sent all the way to the back. Risky play. Does it pay off? And a whistle before all of that happened for Knobloch. Just waiting to see as some conversation on the field of, I think maybe there might have been a timeout called at one point. Whistle blew before Knobloch went to the cage. So while they're figuring this out, one moment ago, this is what happened with Lucchese going to the cage once again, and her and DeFada sort of almost combining there right at the crease, but a nice pickup there as well by Elizabeth Murphy. Seems like the official has communicated over to the sidelines what exactly happened, and it looks like we might have gotten a timeout there called. That's what I had heard on the field, that a timeout was granted here with 2:50 to play for James Madison. So I think maybe Shelly Clays might have seen something she didn't like there in the offensive side for JMU, and this is what happened, was a timeout. But JMU, a team, like I mentioned, they have 7 players left over from that 2018 championship team, and what a run they made there back in that season. The first championship in school history. And JMU, a team coming out of the CAA, and Shelly Clays now in her 15th season winning it. And then you look at their record in the regular season, 18-1, and you know how tough of a schedule they play on a yearly basis. For the CAA title, they beat rival Towson. They're 11th at that point in school history, and then going on to their second Final Four with a win over North Carolina, a win that they were able to parlay into beating Boston College, the first of Boston College's 3 trips to the final, and beating, as we know, one of the most talented teams we've ever seen not to win a title in those Boston College Eagles. JMU, certainly a team and a program of excellence over the years, and that all coming to fruition in 2018. And now that all comes into play, as Kelly and I alluded to. Kelly, right now, if you're wondering, right now having some technical issues with her feed, so making sure we can get her back in for the end of this game. In the meantime, you've got me. So you're looking at 2:50 to go, 6-5 Elon on top. They led 5-1 at the end of the first 30 minutes. JMU with 4 goals in this half, Elon with just 1. So it's 6-5. What a battle we've had here today. No goal scorer has more than 1 goal, other than Kate Mackel, who scored her 3 goals early on in that first half and really hasn't been heard from since. But the Phoenix electing to go elsewhere on the offensive set, especially with JMU switching to a man-to-man defense, where obviously things are working a little bit differently for the Phoenix in this half. Mackel giving them that boost, Phoenix, early to get that early advantage. And now here in the second half, JMU with possession, 2:50 on the clock, down by 1. This is what it's all about here in our CAA game of the week. And we talked to both these coaches. They said CAA is going to be great this year. Now you're seeing why in the opener here on Lax Sports Network. JMU will take possession here. On the left side, you see Mady. Now it's Jankowski. Redshirt freshman works it over to the middle. Marchetti to Peterson. Peterson not afraid to dodge here from the top. Now working to the right side. Marchetti flashing. 20 on the possession clock. Can Elon get the stop? Jankowski. Here comes the slide. Now they'll pass. Lucchese. Little fake there in the middle. The defense holding up. 10 on the clock. Knobloch. Jankowski. 5 on the clock. Jankowski retreating. Nothing she can do about it. And the clock expires. What a stop for the Phoenix. The biggest of the day. 1:57 to play here in Rudd Field. Now the big part here is the clear after the possession clock violation. They do get it over. It's Julia Dalmas, made a couple big plays already here today. How much time will Elon take? See, there's 1:36 left, 65 on the possession clock. You do the math here. They can get it under a minute. Should be right about 30 seconds if they take the full 90. Will they do it? Can they do it? Enow almost intercepted. What a catch there by Curran, who then goes down. Ball on the ground, big round ball. Marshall is there. Can she pick it up? A battle there along the back line, and it goes JMU's way with 1:05 remaining. Smith loses it on the clear, and they call it on Smith. Elon gets possession back, 53 to go. James Madison unable to clear it after forcing the turnover. 45 now on the clock. It's running on the restart. It continues, and now Elon will play keep away. 20 on the clock. Another foul. The Elon bench going wild here. A yellow card coming on Daria Lucchese, and Elon about to do it. A 5-1 lead in the first half. JMU rallying in the second. Elon 16 seconds away. Elon, a man out. If you're wondering about the clock, the scoreboard did go out, so that's why there was a couple seconds differential here. Now we're back on it with 16 to play. The tension building here for Elon. JMU's 18 straight game winning streak in CAA play at risk. Elon with a possible program-defining victory. Capturing images of that 2017 season They were able to beat Virginia. They were able to beat Virginia Tech. They schedule these tough teams every year. They don't have that schedule this year. They don't have the opportunities against a Duke, a North Carolina, or Virginia Tech to shock the world. A game like this against James Madison is their opportunity. Josh Hexter talked about this senior class knowing that this was the moment. He said this group, this culture was different. And here they are, leading 6-5. We joked about it earlier in the broadcast. He said, no, we're not a top 15 team right now. That's our goal. But here they are, 16 seconds away from beating a top 15 team, a team that won the championship 2 seasons ago. Ball in the stick of a senior, Quinn Daly. See Molly Dougherty coming out. She'll need the help as Elon here a man up after the yellow card. Continued conversation on the field and players now continuing to move. Talk about free movement. There's been plenty of that as everybody continues to get set here. Seems like there is some confusion, probably between maybe some clock time in addition to everything else going on here in the final moments of the game. That's the Elon athletic director right now in discussion. David Blank is his name. And now it appears like we'll get some clarity. So it appears that hopefully we'll have a result here soon of all this consternation and conversation as there's frustration. The Elon bench, you can see, just ready to explode. What a performance here by the Phoenix today. Starting out the match with all the energy in the world. Didn't make anything easy for James Madison, but the Dukes, as we know, a winning mentality coming and battling back here in the second half. Lena DeFada, the goalie, the redshirt senior, making 8 saves on the day as there is still a clock issue. Don't forget, the Elon Phoenix haven't played since February 13th. Had almost a month-long layoff before today. They were fresh, and they showed it from the start. The shot clock is now the game clock. So it was off anyway, so 16 on the clock, and away we go. Daly running away from 3 purple shirts. Tries to get it out, avoiding a turnover. 10 on the clock. Curtin runs around with it. 5 on the clock. And Elon is gonna do it. The Phoenix rising in Rudd Field, knocking off the champs for the first time in program history. 6-5 the final here in Elon, North Carolina. Capturing the magic from 2017 here in the year 2021. A competitive CAA season as advertised, starting off here in game 1 between the 12th ranked James Madison Dukes and Elon Phoenix. The Phoenix, the upset of the weekend in women's lacrosse. 6-5 here at home. It was Kate Mackel with the 3 goals in the first half, the first 15 minutes of play for the Phoenix. The others from Bowman, Curran, and Steven. 5 different goal scorers for JMU here today. Paulina DeFada coming in clutch with 8 saves on 20 shots on goal. Excuse me, on 13 shots on goal. She only let in 5, and JMU falls So 2-1. Elon now at 2-0 here in 2021. That'll do it here from Rudd Field in Elon, North Carolina. For Kelly Berger and our producer Dylan Hand, along with the rest of our crew, I'm Tom Eschen. Thanks so much for joining us here today. What a win, what an upset. Only more to come here on Lax Sports Network. We'll see you next time.